My dear friends and replay viewers, it's been quite a while since I've done a Periscope because I've been working on myself, which is the ultimate Kabbalah work. Oh, thank you, Rabbi Liadi. So I was just saying, this is the ultimate Kabbalistic work, is the work that's done on the self. Kabbalah, always being known as a secret medium, actually means an individualistic medium in relation to the group as a whole. And this group as a whole, which is now the internet in general, and all these social media apps, presents the groundwork for an individualized framework. One needs to understand this, to understand what's actually happening in radical Islam today, and how somebody could be radicalized on the internet and not really be part of a group, not really be part of a church, a mosque, a synagogue, kind of be on his own, to get direct communication, or seemingly direct communication from Hashem, or whatever relationship to godliness. And that comes from the understanding of the collective unconscious, of the social media, of the total number of Google searches. And then you put in your own search. You put in your own 2 cents worth. And quite frankly, that's where I am. I've had nothing but bad experiences in synagogues. Tonight's not the time to say it, but at a future point I'll explain it. You see, my hair, I was never part of a group. Yet, I consider myself ultra-Orthodox. How could that be that I'm ultra-Orthodox and not part of a group? So please understand that. I've been working on myself and my third temple, the third temple, which is the body. That third temple, which is in Jerusalem as the Western Wall, in my opinion, will never be completed. It's completed right there. When you go to the Western Wall, it's complete. The world is complete as is. The world is perfect as is. And in Olam Haba, you'll still have a raising of consciousness. But it's only a recognition that the world is perfect as is. And don't give 1 minute to somebody else. All this is for you. The world was created for me to have bodily pleasures as expressed through the animal soul. The animal soul being higher than the godly soul. The animal soul that inhabits down here in Olam Hazeh. Very nice. It's funny you should say that about dog, because we were on another site, another scope before. The dog, Kelev, like a heart. The dog, which is supposedly a dirty animal, possesses the animal soul. People have dogs as pets because they want to understand that animal soul within them. Each one of us has an animal soul that's lower than the belt buckle. See? That's why we as Jewish people are involved in the physical world. We're spiritual beings within the physical body. That's what makes us different than actual Muslims, because they want to go and think that their spiritual world is higher. No. The animal world, the physical world is higher. Man as a physical being, to get enjoyments from food, kosher food, to get enjoyments from relationships, kosher for relationships, to get everything proper. And then once these things are incorporated within you, you realize you have made a foundation. You are the temple. The Mishkan is the temple. Is the body. The temple is the body. We have to make a home for the godly soul. And when that godly soul enters this physical soul, it enlightens the physical soul even more. And that's the greatness. How to elevate the animal soul. Martin Heidegger said, man is the animal with hands. There was a midrash that was written about in the New York Times yesterday, or one of these things, that after Moses had his 120 years of life, he asked God, can I still stay around as an animal? Oh, people don't understand that. Oh, they think he wanted to stay around as an animal. It's very high, by the way. Very high. And this body now, what I've been doing, and why I haven't been on the web here, or whatever it's called, so I've been doing these consciousness-raising exercises that other people call Reiki, or they call Tai Chi, or they call Kung Fu, or Aikido, or whatever they call them. And quite frankly, they all emanate from Judaism. And I will be explaining in the future how all these bodily positions come from, actually, the Jewish opus comes from Sefer Yetzirah, comes from the Hebrew letters, and how it's all in there. And what does it actually mean? Let me just give an example. Hashamayim, or we'll just use Shemayim. People always think that's like heaven or something. But what does Shemayim mean? See? It's a combination word of Esh, or Aish, or whatever it is, Esh, fire, and Mayim, water. The whole secret of the opus of the Jewish people comes from the letter Mem, which is water. And that water sinks into the belly. The same as taking the waters of the, I forget right now, the waters, the woman of the wife, the waters, taking the mikvah, the 40 of the mikvah, sota, right? Thank you, and the water of the mikvah. Saying. And where is that water? The water is in the stomach. And that stomach is the hara point, the tantien point. And that's the power of where my mystical point is the belly button. The belly button higher than the bris, than the yesod of the bris. The belly button. And 2 inches inside the belly button, we have a spot, and then we'll talk about this at another time. And that's the mem of Shemayim. And where's the esh? Where's the fire? Where's the shin? The shin is in the tefillin. So we have 2 spots here. We have the spot of Mayim, which is the stomach, and we have the spot of fire, which is the shin of between Chochmah and Bina, of the 3 mother letters. And where's the Aleph but in the middle? And don't we have the 3 mother letters in the Sefer Yetzirah? And the 3 lines of Chochmah and Bina is the Shin, Hesed and Gevurah is the Aleph, and the Mem is the line between Netzach and Hod. And I'll explain the Esh, the Aleph some other time, but in the meantime, the stomach and the head is what makes Shemayim. And that silent, unseen Aleph is what's in between. And those are the 3 mother letters. And that's heaven. Or upper. And what's lower? Eretz. Eretz is lower. And what do you do in Tai Chi? Or what do you do in Aikido? You sink. You sink and then you rise. And yoga too. You sink and then you rise. And you sink to the Eretz. And how do you bring to the Eretz? You bring the Mayim to the Eretz. And what do? Torah is Mayim. And you sink it to the earth. And then you raise it to the, and as you said, run and return. You sink it to the earth and then you raise it to the sky, to the head, to the shin of the tefillin block. And that's what you do. That's Shemayim, et hashemayim ve'et haaretz. And what are those 4 letters there? Of the Rosh Tivo of those 4 words, et, Aleph, Hey, Hashemayim, Vav, for Va'et, Hey, for Haaretz, and that's from Abu Lafia, the mystical word name of Hashem in the level of Da'as, Aleph, Hey, Vav, Hey. And if you don't know it, find out about it. And where is Das and all this, if not the Adam's apple? And isn't this yoga? And where are these places in the center pillar, in the Shushumna channel? And how do we get to the Shushumna? Only by balancing right and left. by balancing Chokmah and Bina, and then Shin appears. And if you balance Hesed and Gavora, the Aleph appears. And if you balance Netzach and Hod, the Mem appears. And you have everything up the center spine. And this is a great mystery that you should explore yourself, or if you want, this is part of Kabbalah Update and Q&A. So let me relax a moment and ask for cues. Remember with me, if there are no Q's, there's no A's. Well, thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Liadi, by the way. I'm not going to mention names on this because on the replays, the little things, thank you, I appreciate that. And anytime you want to communicate with me, you just do. Thank you. This is a great mystical thing. You understand this, by the way. That's why you're on. Well, thank you. But you understand this. That's why you're on Scope. Because that communicates to the collective unconscious. And only as a group of the world, as a group, can you then become individualized within that group. If you listen to thank you. If you listen to the Rebbe, he didn't try to make himself. He was a cheerleader for you. He didn't make himself a final authority. You're the final authority for you. That's why he has shliachs all over the world. Each individual is his own final authority. And one of the comments I'm making here is that it's no different in Islam, and people don't understand that. That's why they don't understand what's going on. They're behind the times. And there will not be an understanding of this radical Islam until that's understood that each person is doing it on his own, what they call inspired by. But they say, he's only inspired by that. We are in the Messianic era. This is the perfect world. And here's my answer to all these things. Absorb these events that are happening. Don't spend $5 billion or whatever they spend trying to prevent the death of 4 people. Absorb it. The more parasites a body can absorb, the higher the level of the body. Everybody's walking around with some sort of parasite. And you live anyway. There's no protection. You don't go around protecting yourself. The world is perfect as is. Enjoy every moment. And when you wake up tomorrow, you'll get a different aspect of your soul to enjoy in your body, in your it is hashkaka. You get a new level of your soul every day. And then when you go out, and that's why every time you pray, you're a different person. It's the same words, but you're a different person saying those words. So one time you can focus every moment. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's calculus. It's not only the whole, it's every disk of the whole. It's not only 360 degrees, it's each degree. It's different. The real secret is to find each moment different, as you're saying. So in a day, of course, it's obviously different. How to find yourself in a rega, in a moment. How each rega is new. And that you have instantaneous presence is a great word for it at the moment. And there's only presence. See? And when you die, your presence is over. But you won't feel a thing because your ego is dead. And that's why they say in Judaism and Islam, die before you die. Once you die and change your ani into an ain, the same letters, you exist forever. It's only the ego that holds you back by gravity. It holds you down. And when you aren't down anymore, then how can you even talk about this? And now I am going to start talking after he's dead, and I'm going to wait another few weeks. About Elie Wiesel, man who made $25, $50, $100,000 on a speech, perpetuating "you shall never forget." That's one level, but that's not the Kabbalistic level. The Kabbalistic level at Chochmah and Keter is to forget. To forget yesterday. To forget the last moment. And go on. Countries forget. They go, we're in Germany. German cars. We're in Japan. We're in Vietnam. Forget. Drop it. Go on. It's because you don't feel this world is perfect that you want to remember the good old days. The world is better now. Hard to understand it. It's been a pleasure here talking. If there are any questions, I have a low battery here. I don't want to lose this. I can't tell the battery. Thank you. If there are any questions, that's exactly right. But thank you, Rabbi Liadi, and me too. Me too to you. You know, I think you're on target with what you do. You know that. And if there are any private things, always call me up. Because, you know, in the final analysis, there's private and public. That's exactly right, Rabbi Liadi. And remember that this is only the beginning of that world. The world is not explained yet, or not. Thank you. That world is not focused yet. It's only the inception of this. My words aren't here right now. Translating from the Hungarian into this English, I'm missing a lot. Translating from Esperanto, so difficult for me, and to keep the flow. Thank you. You know, if you don't want to hang up, and you know something, I'm nervous about this, but if you want to stay, I'll stay here a little longer, but I have to get a plug for this machine. Okay, Randy, bring me the plug. Bring me the electricity plug.
What is it?
Yeah, bring me the electricity plug. I'm going to plug it in here and keep it going. The electricity plug?
For your phone?
Yes.
Okay. Jesus. I was sleeping, Steve.
Oh, I didn't know. Just here, watch out. Don't come here. Thank you. See if I can keep this going. Because you know I haven't been on for a long time, as you all know. see if this, I hope it doesn't screw up. Let me get some books to hold it here. Hold on. I'm going to hold this. Just hold it. I don't need books to. See. Now, why are the three mother letters that talked about in the Sefer Yetzirah? The mem, the aleph, the mem and the shin on top, the aleph in the middle, and the mem below. And why are they called mother letters? Why? Because the religion is passed on through the mother letters. And what's the highest, most, remember the Torah, for me now, the Torah is the Torah in the womb, which is the mother letters. It's the Torah in the womb. And when you come out of the womb, an angel taps you on the lip. That's why I don't cut the hair of the lip. Taps you on the lip and you forget the entire Torah. So you spend your entire life learning what you already learned in the womb. And what did you learn in the womb? You learned the entire Torah from your mother. And your connection to your mother was through the umbilical cord. And yet there's nothing about the umbilical cord in Judaism. On the 8th day we have the bris, but we don't have the anything about the umbilical cord. Nothing really. And so what about that? Remember that the mothers give birth to the fathers. You see? So when we're talking about this, about the mothers, what are the three? And so we only have to know three things. We only have to know three letters. The entire Torah is through three letters, which is not much different than how the Mukatat letters are on the Quran. In the second surah in the Quran. Take a look. They have an aleph, a lam, and a mim. And if you understand in esoteric, if you understand those three letters, you understand the entire Quran. Is that any different than the Sefer Yetzirah? Talking about the three mother letters. Even before we get to the 7 double letters and the 12 simple letters. The 7 double letters, obviously, the 7 notes of the scale. The 12 simple letters, the entire scale again with the 5 gavur of the 5 black notes, again in another way. The cube of the 12 lines in the cube. The 7 is the linear direction. The 3 basically is a circle, all in like 3.1, like pi. But they used to say pi is 3. 3 is the great secret, isn't it? Chokmah, Bina, and Das. If you don't want Das, Keta, Chokmah, and Bina. It's a 3 and a 7. The law of 3, left, right, and center. Isn't that what we have? Up, down, and center in the 3 mother letters. And so that's what we have. And those 3 mother letters, they travel far. If you read any of the Tai Chi texts, the Taoism texts. You find out about the 3 spots on the body. The 3 treasures, find out about them. These are great secrets. So here's what I ask. You know, when the Baal Shem Tov says go back to the letters, there are 22 letters. That's an awful lot. I asked to go back to the letters, go back to 3. I also asked to go back to 1. Go back to the Aleph. If you knew, right, the Aleph. Remember before when we were talking about LF, right? Well, when you wrote the LF, right, Aluf, all those things. Aleph, Lam, Lamed, Pei. Also that Aleph as 1,000, the large Aleph as 1,000. I'm being asked here, what about the Gospels? The Gospels are beautiful. They're perfect for Christians. Not everybody's supposed to be Jewish. Not everybody's Jewish. The Gospels are wonderful if you're a Christian. Anything to do with Catholicism, the Gospels are beautiful. You do not, if you're not Jewish, you do not have a Jewish soul. That doesn't make you bad. It just makes you that you're not Jewish. That's all. If the world is perfect, look at how all the different people there are. There are Hindus, there are Chinese people, the Zen people. Doesn't make you bad. Believe in the Gospels. Read the Gospels. Always remember that the Gospels come as an answer to the Jewish question. The New Testament is their answer to the Old Testament, which is our answer. And for each individual, now that's what's so beautiful. Maybe for Christ. For Christ, those are some of them. But just remember another thing. Christ didn't write, those were his words, but he didn't write it down. And to be in the present tense, as you know, the ones who use the scope, this is the present tense. This is not a written form. This is a spoken form that goes around the world. Could you imagine how much faster things would have been if Jesus spoke on scope? On Periscope? Instead, he never went more than 20 miles from his home in his whole life. The most famous person that ever lived outside of Moses. After Moses, the most famous person that ever lived never went 20 miles from his house. And look how he influenced the world. No. Adam. I don't know where Adam went. You know, you have to remember that Adam was the size of the world. So, I mean, he was a different size. That's a whole other thing. You know, one of the reasons I wasn't saying anything for a while was the word Adam talks about Adam. I look at it as doom, silence. I do have another level of transmission that is done silently. And so please understand that this is my public face. I have a transmission, a silent transmission, and then I have a personal transmission that I give personally. And that can only be done in person. Can't be done on the telephone. And so this is a deep story here. In other words, I'm not kidding around. I'm not kidding around because it's my life. Always remember, this isn't for you. This is for me. I'm interested in my evolution of my soul. I'm not doing this like, they say, oh, I'm doing this for you. See, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this. Let me see what they got here. Only have six. I got it plugged in here, and I still only have 6% left. I'm not doing this for you. The world was created for me. The world, meaning all of you, were created for me. So I help you as a shining star. I don't help you as like holding your hand. I help you as a shining star. So look at me carefully, because this is part of the transmission that can be done over scope. Look at me carefully as I give transmission. See if your day isn't better. We must always think of the other to become iron. Please understand this. This is part of a level of understanding of iron. It's a part of a level of understanding. As you know, I'm an old man. I wasted 10, 12 years, 20 years of my life in that same line that you just said. It's not. It is true for a certain level. There's another level. Find it within yourself. See if you are helping somebody else. You're really helping you. It's not that I'm helping somebody else. It's the same thing with tzedakah. Hashem put the person there so you can give them that food. You see? It's still always be about other in your eyes. What other? There's no other. That's only you. That's the individual I'm talking about now. I'm not in a part of a group. I'm part of a group. I'm on this, aren't I? Talking to you, aren't I? When I elevate myself, you will benefit. It's the same thing. Yeah, when I elevate myself, you'll benefit by the butterfly effect, by morphonic resonance. I know that you learn from your students. I learned a little today about that with my tennis thing. But it's not really, really true. It's not really, really true. That's to get you in the student mode, the teacher-student mode, the father-son mode, the idea of Priya. I'll agree with you. I agree with you. In that sense, this is my descent here. Descent into the physical. For me, the internet is physical world. This kind of like electric world to me is physical. I'm so much out of here that it's physical to me to come down and do this. I think you're in the room here with me. You're in my chat room. See? So, It's a beautiful. Well, first of all, let me thank you for the chat. I'm off to Svat. Well, you can't do better than that. That's the whole point. That's where the whole Kabbalah was done. That's where the graves are. That's where the souls are. Yeah. Well, what do you call it? That's where the souls are, the graves are, the energy is. That energy filters down. And as it's been proven, and in fact the Rebbe said this, no Periscope goes there. What do you call, as the Rebbe said this, that there are certain souls that are happy souls in the Yortzites, and there's certain souls that are like sad souls. And for some you dance on the graves, and some you cry on the graves. And that's what happens in this world. For me, this is joyous. I remember 40 years ago, I used to hear Rajneesh talk and talk about the last word. He used to stress that last syllable, S. He talked about joyous. So thank you. And that's what it is. So thank my parents for giving me this body to experience pleasure, to experience bodily pleasure, talking like this, having these kind of thoughts within my physical brain, having bodily pleasures of eating, talking, swimming, walking, breathing, seeing, smelling, hearing. It's not enough for you? Not you. Not all the other people? Except the two that are wonderfully here. Not enough for you? Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to study. Please be in touch with me. See if you can be in touch with me. My number's on the thing. Skype me or something. It's my pleasure. If you want to, study the alphabet. Meditate on the alphabet. Everything is in the alphabet. I didn't make this up. Everything's in the Aleph. I didn't make it. Ever hear the Baal Shem Tov? I'm only quoting. The other letters come out of the Aleph like the other numbers come out of the number 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's the letter Bet. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's the letter Gimel. I'm not smart enough to make anything up. I've read. 40 years I've read. And now I have bodily incorporated what I have read. Again, I am bodily incorporating what I have read. And the same thing at that Wailing Wall that you're at, I'm not saying the name now, that is internalizing. That's a full temple, you see. A fragment is a full. A fragment is a full. That temple will never be rebuilt. It is built. It's whole. Find out what a wall represents in psychology. A wall is the mother. HaKotel is the mother. No different than the 3 mother letters. So these things aren't just intellectual. The Sefer Yetzirah says, we'll create 3 mother letters and 7 double letters. They're there. The 3 mother letters are there. And the most important one is the Aleph. And the Aleph is breath. And the Torah is the Mem. And the Tefillin is the Shin. And the 2 faces of the Tefillin, two sides of the Tefillin, There's a 3-pronged shin and a 4-pronged shin. And how many is that? That's 7. So don't tell me that the 7 doubles don't also represent in that shin. It's the whole point. So this has been beautiful. You know, as I say, let me leave it all laughing here. We've been on a long time. I've made you stay a long time. I appreciate you being here, Rabbi Liadi. Thank you so much for staying. It's been a very long. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll be in touch, and I'll make sure I'll see your shears. And I look forward to being in touch with you other times too, with more personal stuff that can't be explicated. And thank you so much.